All right. Can we start off with you telling us what your name is?
Okay, my name is Jan Bixler, and I live here in Vevay, Indiana. I've been here now for 17 years. My husband and I moved here from Seattle.
Wow.
We'd lived there for 14 years, and before that time, I was living in Florida.
So you've
And before
traveled.
that time, I was living in Minneapolis, and before that time, Illinois, which is where I grew up.
So you've traveled all over.
Yeah, yep.
How long have you been a member of the Art Center?
I, maybe about 8 years, I think. Um, yeah, probably about 8 years.
And how long have you been an artist in general?
I started doing jewelry back short time after we moved here. Um, had never done it before. The I had actually started doing crafts with wine corks, and there was a store in Madison, Indiana, that you could set up a booth, and that's where I set up the things that I created with wine corks. Well, also attached to that business was a bead shop, and I started taking lessons at the bead shop, making earrings and bracelets and necklaces, and I just loved it. And when she shut it down, we started doing. A friend of mine and I started doing craft fairs, and then, well, like 7, 8 years ago, I was approached by the art center and asked if I wanted to have my jewelry here. So
So they reached out to you to be here.
yes, yes. I mean, I knew several people here, just friendships, that type of thing, and somebody just said, "Do you think you'd ever want to put your jewelry here?" And I said, "Sure." And then my friend, who was also making the jewelry, um, I said, "What about her?" And they said, "Sure, why not?" I mean, we were both juried, and then they juried us in. So we both had our jewelry here for a while, but she has left in the meantime.
Um, I know you said that you are a jeweler, but what kind of jewelry do you
Okay,
make?
I do basically beaded jewelry, things like this.
Mm.
But I also made this. This is just metal pieces that I put together. But basically, it's beaded jewelry. And I create my own, as well as one of the things I like to do is I go to thrift stores and, well, yard sales, that type of thing, and I will find something there that piques my interest, bring it home, tear it apart, put it back together, and then it's mine. So, and but like I said, I do create a lot of my own things. Um, there are some times that I might see something that I like, and I will try to create that same thing myself and then sell it. Or sometimes, if I like it enough, I'll keep it.
So have you ever made your own beads or do you always buy
I
beads?
buy my own beads.
Okay.
Um, One of the other artists here who does fused glass, we have talked a few times about uh, her teaching me how to make beads. We just haven't, with our schedules and everything, we just haven't been able to get together.
That'll be cool though if you can make your own beads for your
Right,
jewelry. That'd
right.
be cool. Yeah. Have you always wanted to be an artist
No,
or no?
no.
So what did you
This
do?
it's just something that I don't know if I just started doing it because I had retired and I just wanted something to do. That's why I started doing the working with the wine corks. And then, of course, when I became interested at the bead shop and started taking lessons, and that's when I got more interested into making the jewelry. But I was never in my life. If you would have asked me 30 years ago, would you be interested in making jewelry? I probably would have said no. It just I was busy doing other things.
So what did you do before you got into jewelry?
I didn't do any crafts. I was at one time, well, I was doing the jewelry at the same time, but I was doing a lot of competitive swimming. I did that for about 5 or 6 years. I mean, I was always a swimmer. I was a swimmer when I was a kid. Um, but I got back into it and was doing some competitive swimming. And then unfortunately, I hurt my shoulder and I wasn't able to get back into that. But I've worked with, um, I've always, well, for 25 years, I was in a veterinary um, business. I worked in veterinary hospitals in Florida and also in Washington State, and enjoyed that a lot. So I'm kind of an animal lover, and I have done some volunteer work at places around here, but and I do a lot of at home. I, I'm out in the garden. I'm outside. I like to be outside.
So you like to like mess around with flowers?
Not necessarily. I'm more of growing my own vegetables, that type of thing. I mean, I like flowers.
Mhm.
I do like flowers. I mean, I do. I have uh, pots of flowers around my house, but not necessarily. It's not a passion of mine. I always indoor plants. I always joke that I have a black thumb when it comes to indoor plants. Don't give me an indoor plant, I'll kill it. So,
I
but
mean, the most I can take care of is a cactus, and that's because
yeah,
they barely take
and
water.
even cactuses I have problems with.
um, did you ever go to college for anything? And if so, what did you go for?
I did go to college. I graduated with an education degree, and very early on decided that was not something that I wanted to do. Um, uh, it's not that I don't like younger people or children. It's just that I don't have the patience to deal with them. So that's why I ended up. I do one of the things I do love to do is read. I'm an avid reader, and one of my first jobs up in Minnesota was I worked at a book wholesaler, and so that was one of my passions. And then when I moved to Florida, that's when I got into the veterinary medicine, which is my second love, which would be animals. Because I've had cats all my life. I've had dogs all my life. I even tried having birds, but you can't really cuddle a bird.
So now the $1 million question: Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I have to say, I'm sorry, Amber, but I'm a cat person. Amber's my dog. So I do have a dog, but I do gravitate towards cats more.
Me too. I just love cats. They're just so cute. I just recently got a kitten. It's
Oh,
all I've been on.
what color?
She's gray with a little patch of white on her
Yeah,
chest.
cool.
Yeah.
I have two. At this time, I've had more. Uh, I call them my Halloween cats. I have a black cat, an orange cat.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
and
they
both
are.
males. I love my male cats. I've had female cats in the past, but just male cats just, I don't know. I know people would disagree with me, but I like my boys.
So, who inspired you to be a jeweler, I guess?
Well, like I
Or,
said, I started when I started having my wine cork things at the shop, and I was watching people, make jewelry, and I thought I'm going to take some lessons. And then my good friend Peggy has been a bead artist for a long time, and I think just she inspired me. I just saw the things that she created, and I thought I can do that. That looks like fun. Sometimes it's it my patience wears thin, and when you're working with a lot of little things and you get old when you're older. Um, but I guess that's what inspired me, just watching these other people make jewelry and the satisfaction that they got from it once they were finished, um, that type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like just as an artist in general, it's really easy to be inspired by the people around you.
Right.
And I feel like that's what's so amazing about being here because I feel like everyone's creativity just bounces off of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was actually I started working at Peggy's shop, and there was a woman there who created jewelry, and she was um, really good. I really liked what she did, and so she was one of them. And then there were other bead artists there that sold their jewelry, and they were also an inspiration to me. So, but some of them did things that I knew that I didn't have the patience to do with the. I don't work. Uh, I do have some things in my collection of seed beads. I don't necessarily like to work with them because they're so small. And but I've attempted it a few times, and I always say I'm not doing this again, and then I'll see something. And but there's a couple pieces in my collection. Actually, both of them are thrift store finds that I've created something with, or done a little bit more to them, so that I feel I can call it my own.
How do you think that your art fits in at the art center?
Hmm?
How do you feel like your art fits in at the art center?
Well, um, even though I look around and I see all these very creative, talented people that I know that I'm not an artist in that sense of like with the painting and that type of thing. But I think my stuff, um, because of its uh, well, my one friend calls it earthy, and it's kind of bohemian, and with the different styles of art, I think it fits in just with that because of the different styles that I do. I'm not uh, in a sense do one particular type of jewelry. I jump around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So similarly, how do you feel like your art stands out?
How it stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure how to answer that question. Um, it Well, the thing is, I think it stands out because basically there's only we only have a couple other people that do jewelry. I'm There's some that do jewelry and other things. I just do jewelry, and I think in that sense it might stand out a little bit more because oh, here's a jeweler or here's a bead artist, whatever I want to call myself. But um, it's but yeah, that's the only thing that I could think of that why it would stand out. It's just because it's all jewelry. It's not. Some people have some carvings, and then they have some little jewelry and some other things, and So, or they have photography, and then they have some jewelry that they've created. So I'm just a jeweler. I'm a bead. Well, I consider myself a bead artist. So
I feel like your jewelry is also different from the other jewelry that's in the art center as well.
right, right.
So I feel
Well,
like
it's just like Marty. She does. She uses clay to create her beads. You know, like I buy my beads, or I find. Well, usually I do. I buy them. I've even gone into some of my old jewelry and brought things out and made something from them. Jewelry that I don't wear anymore. See what I can do with this.
yeah, I just feel like yours is just so different from the others, and I feel like it stands
Well,
out in
yeah,
that
I think they're
sense.
all different,
Yeah.
but I'm the only one. Well, it's just Marty and myself that do the beads, and well, she does her clay beads, and again, I buy all my beads, but um, but maybe I'll get with Sherry and make some some beads, because they'll have to be a certain size. I can't make some of the smaller things. I don't think I'd have to talk to Sherry about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe your jewelry?
Well, I've mentioned before, I consider um, most of my stuff kind of bohemian, in the sense that I do long jewelry. I do have some things where that are a little bit more masculine. I thought, I'll see if I try that, but it's a little bit. Uh, you might want to call it avant-garde, but I do tend towards the bohemian, long uh, with focals, or just long uh, beaded things.
Now, I know you said that you're not a artist in the sense that you're a painter, but you are an artist in the sense that you create things.
Yeah,
So how would you describe, what would you say makes a good art piece? What would you say makes an art piece good?
a good art piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it comes to my jewelry, I always try to make something that I would wear myself. I don't make something, uh, I look at it and go, yeah, I like this. I would wear this. And and that's, I guess, that in the long run, that's how I create the things. It's like for me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm creating, I put it out there, and hope that people will like it as much as I do.
Art is definitely one of those things where you have to do it for yourself too.
Yeah.
You can't always focus on what other people are going to like, because it means nothing if you didn't enjoy making it.
Right. Well, there's times that things get a little frustrating, and I'm not enjoying making it, but in the long run, it usually comes out that I like what I've done. And if I don't like what I've done, I tear it apart and start all over again. And I'm sure there's a lot of painters out there that do the same thing.
I know I do that. I know it gets very frustrating sometimes halfway through a piece. I'm like, oh, I just want to be done with it. But then I usually enjoy it when I'm done. And if I don't, I just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Just put it aside. How do you stay inspired to do what you do?
I would have to say, one of the things, going to like bead conventions and seeing different things that people have created there that inspire me. It's just, a lot of it is just what I see, what other jewelry that I see in And like I said, if I like it, I might try to recreate it or just create something similar that that I can call my own. But it's not like going outside and seeing something and going, oh, I think I'll make something like a tree that looks like a tree, or you know what I'm saying. It's just I see other jewelry that inspires me. Is basically what it comes down to. Just the style of it, the colors that were used. That I think, oh, I never thought of that. I didn't think that those two types of beads would go together, that type of thing. So it, I go by, I've even been inspired by, this was a few years back, but we were out west and stopped at a rest stop, and there were Native American Indians selling their jewelry and other things. And I bought a piece of jewelry and I thought, this is so cool. And I'm going to try to make things like this. And so I've got a little bit of turquoise over there that, in my collection, not a lot. I want to get more into it because they had a lot of turquoise. Even though turquoise is getting very rare, and there's other stones that look like turquoise that I pretty much use those so I can make. And that's one thing I like to make my jewelry affordable. I don't um, charge a lot for my jewelry. I try to keep it as inexpensive as I possibly can.
So, last question here. Is there anything that you would like to tell the young people watching?
Oh, well, if you find that there's something you want to create or try to create, go for it. I mean, you never know where you're going to end up. You know, always, always, just keep. I don't know, I shouldn't say keep that dream alive, but if there's something that interests you, follow it. And if it turns out that it isn't what you thought it was going to be, you can always try something else. I mean, I'm still even though what I have here is the beaded jewelry. I still work with my corks, with my wine corks. I'm still have fun with those. I make different things with that. So that's more of a considered a craft rather than an art. So I've sold a few things here, like Christmas ornaments and that type of thing. But basically, my wine cork creations I sell at craft fairs along with my jewelry.
I feel like that's really important for people to remember that you can always try things, and even if it doesn't work out or isn't what you thought it was, it's okay to not have to keep doing that.
I mean, when I was in college, I took some art classes. I'm not saying I've never tried it, but I just realized that I'm better at stick figures. My grandmother was the artist. I actually have several things that she did, and my mother she did crafty things, but she never was a painter. My grandmother was a painter, and she also she did embroidery. Actually, that's how she made her when she came from Czechoslovakia. She made her money by doing embroidery in Chicago at a haberdashery shop, so, doing monograms, that type of thing. I've got some beautiful things that she did. Okay, so here are the pieces that I have on display here. These aren't all my creations. I still have some at home, but I only have so much room. And but some of them are intricate, some of them are simple, kind of like this is a cross with a turquoise bead and the turquoise colored leather. This focal I picked up at a it was in Louisville, and then I just created the piece with the black with silver accents because it does have some black in it. This is a piece that I picked up at a thrift store or yard sale, one of the two, and it was just very. I'm actually going to take it down. It's long, as you can see, and I added to it. It only had a few strands, so I bulked it up, and I thought it was much better with that. This is another one, thrift store find, and I added these beads to it. I think it's kind of a beachy. I think it's this time of year, beachy type of thing.
That's what I was
Summer.
gonna say. It feels very beachy.
Yeah. This one I have in my hands is kind of more fall. But these are my two that I talk about, men. I thought men might be interested in something like that, a little bulkier. This piece is actually one of my favorites, and but I did buy these pieces. These are quartz, and then just added with the chain. This is something that Peggy and I sold for a while, and it's a necklace. So as you can see, just put it over your head, but you can also wrap it around your wrist. So then you would have like multiple, some people like a lot of chains, and so you'd have it around your wrist. So we call them necklets. Necklets, yeah.
I like that. That's a very cool idea. It's multifunctional.
Well, we kind of saw something similar to it online and decided to try it ourselves.
Now, where'd you get the round beads?
Now those that I would order. There's a company that a lot of people who do bead art. It's called Fire Mountain Gems, and that's where I got that. This was another thrift store find, and I added the silver to it and some more turquoise. These are actually wooden. These are a wooden type bead, and just added the silver between it, and that was kind of, I don't know how I got inspired to do that, but and then these are all my necklaces that I've created. Of course, being in Vevay, I know a lot of people don't know about Fred the Goat, but that's my nod to Fred. And just fun things that I've done. And bracelets, I do a lot of bracelets. I do the stretch, and then these all have clasps on them. So
I love all of your bracelets. They're very like, I don't know how to describe them. They're very
unique.
Elegant and unique. I feel like.
Yeah,
like this
I love the colors. Yeah, with the spirit bears. Yeah, and I kind of tend towards the turquoise in some ways. And well, I'm speaking about, this was actually a focal from an old necklace that I had, and I took it apart and made that. And then the other thing I have is few little things that I've made for the art center, and they're bookmarks. So even though a lot of people don't have regular books anymore, but there are people that are still like their books. They like to open up a book. And that's about it. Like I said, I mean, I have other things at home. that I rotate. I'll bring those in, take these out. You know, like something like this, I'll probably take out at the end of the summer because this is more of a summer type necklace. Leave that. I might end up taking that one out because of it's more fall. But that's what I have here.
I love all of your pieces. I feel like they're all very different.
Yeah.
I really like this one. I like its little pendant.
That pendant?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some other pendants, or well, we call them focals, that at home that I'm going to be making some more jewelry with those. And but that's the one that caught my eye, and it's interesting with the way it's shaped.
Yeah, I very much love your pieces.
Well, thank you.
I like how some of them are more intricate and some of them are more simple.
Well, I think in some ways it depends on the person that's looking at them. You know, some people don't want a necklace like this because maybe, well, actually somebody told me, she goes, oh, I love that necklace, but I can't wear it because I sweat a lot. So that person would go probably for something a little bit more simple rather than a heavier necklace. This one here has got to be one of my favorites now. But hopefully I'll sell it. If not, it's mine. Like I said, when I make something, I make it, I'll look at it and I'll say, oh, okay, I like that. And I'll bring it in here or take it to a craft fair. And the thing is, I've been going to craft fairs now for, I can't tell you how many years. And, you know, you sit and you look at your pieces and people come in and they look at them and they go on about how lovely they are or how wonderful they are. And then you're waiting, okay. And then they walk away and then somebody will walk in, don't say anything and just take a piece. I want this. They don't even say, oh, I love this or whatever. They'll just say, okay, I like this, or oh, I like this, I want to buy this, that type of thing. It always amazes me. And 2 or 3 years can go by and I can have a piece sitting there and then one person will just walk in. That's all you need, is just that one person that they see something, they like it. Well, I had, just as an example, I was working here. I had a gentleman walk in and he said, what do you do? And I said, back in the corner over there, that's my jewelry. He came over and he goes, I want that. He goes, I want that for my girlfriend. I was like, okay, you know. I said, don't buy it just because I'm here. And he goes, no. He said, she'll love it. So I said, okay. So you never know.
It's very amazing how something can just speak to someone.
Yeah.
And then it's like they can't live without it.
Kind of like some of your art speaks to me.
Yep. I'm going to get you it.
I know you will.
Yep.
I know you will.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And if you live in the area, come on down and check it out.